So, Doug, you won most free-spirited. What does free-spirited mean to you?
Honestly, I was surprised that I won that. I don't know why I got it, but free-spirited to me is a delicate balance between not giving any f***s and caring about the things that matter. So
I guess that's why you won.
yeah, I guess so.
What makes you feel free?
Not being in school.
Why is that?
I don't like the structure of it all, you know? Like, learning is good, but then the institutionalization of it, how you have to follow orders and be cattle, like, led around by bells, it's just disgusting.
So how would you prefer to be taught? Or to learn? Independently?
Greek philosopher way would be pretty good, just like have a chill Socrates like guy chilling on the corner, and then you just walk up and start talking about life. That seems like a good way of learning.
What stresses you out?
I try not to get stressed, but work, especially homework, I just hate working at home. Like, school should stay at school and home should stay at home. But yeah, it's just mostly homework.
Do you usually do homework?
For the most part, yeah. I do miss it on occasion, though. I don't think I've ever just been like, screw this, and just walked out the door, but for the most part, I do it.
That's good.
So, do you have a favorite class or a favorite teacher that you think embodies your educational philosophy?
Not Pip. Definitely not Pip. Not Lundquist. It's Dreyer or Panino. It's got to be one of those two guys.
What field
Then again,
would
Catalano is pretty awesome too, so got to throw her on that list.
What field would you love to pursue in life?
Well, I like science, preferably something in biology, because I feel like English is just a waste of your time. You just make up stories that never happened to try to illustrate points that you have no evidence for. Mathematics can only be used when you apply it for science. And history, although useful, you don't really discover anything new. So science seems to be the way to go.
Where in science?
Just like generally biology, but if I had to be specific, probably botany. I like gardening, so.
Like horticulture or studying like natural?
It could be either.
Cures.
I haven't really like thought about it too specifically yet. Just like botany in general is probably where I want to be, and I'll probably whittle that down once I get to college.
So right now, just being outside and in this nature, do you feel like
it
you're
definitely
one
feels better
with it?
than when I'm like in there. So
Yeah, this makes me feel free.
yeah, I feel you.
You say Catalano is one of your favorite teachers, but she gives some of the most homework out of all your teachers.
Yeah, that is a contradiction about me, I suppose, but I feel like she makes up for the amount of homework she gives in that A, the homework is not frivolous, like I really felt like I learned from her homework, and B, she's just so awesome in class, like she's a great teacher, so that sort of makes up for the amount of homework she gave.
Are you the kind of person that needs reassurance, or is a little enough to get you?
You're asking, do I need like encouragement to pursue my goals, or like?
No.
Oh, you're asking like, am I just like?
Do you live in the
am
moment,
I comfortable
or-
with like having no plan and just sort of winging it?
Yeah.
Well then, yeah, I'd say winging it is probably my most commonly used strategy. It's how I take most of my tests, and it's also a good approach to life too, because if you never expect to be anywhere, then you're never disappointed when you show up there.
I have a question. So, I guess since this started initially about superlatives, you said you were surprised when you got most free-spirited. Which superlative would you assign yourself?
I didn't really look at the superlatives
Or
much,
if you
so
can
I
make
don't.
one up.
I just don't even know. I don't know how to categorize myself, honestly.
What are your thoughts on labels and superlatives?
Labels? That's a good question. I guess it's fine to do it. I'm not going to judge. It's an okay thing, but of course you can't really sum up one person with like one little term, and it could potentially be odd for that person, because then they might try to start like living like that term just to try to fit it. So it could have potential consequences, but it seems okay to me.
Do you naturally label and people in your head? Or things
Well,
in your life?
I don't. In what way? Like, because every human categorizes things, but like.
Some find comfort in putting a word on things to know what it is for assurance, I guess.
I don't think I do that too much with people. Not too
It's a good
much
quality.
anyway. But
Do you necessarily care what people think about you?
sometimes, like, embarrassment comes really easily to me because, like, I don't know, I feel like I make a fool of myself sometimes, but I guess in the end of the day, I just sort of remember no one's going to remember what I did like 2 months from now, and then I feel better about it. So it's sort of a yes and no.
So, what do you think you'll take away most from high school, your 4 years here?
Well, I guess that would just come down to like the most important thing I've learned about, and I guess that would be more about like friendship and relationships than anything academic. I mean, come on, what are we going to remember from high school really from an academic sense? Probably like 11th and 12th grade, but it's the friendships you have that really stick with you.
What have you learned about that? About your relationships?
I guess it's just be like, if I could quote Nike, just do it, you know?
So what you're saying is don't overthink it. If you want something, go for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would say don't overthink it. I'm notorious for overthinking things, but
I mean in a negative way, like to the point that you degrade yourself.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah, so just go for it.
So you believe that too much meticulous planning, like
Yeah, that could definitely be detrimental. I mean, that's probably one of the most stressful parts about colleges and stuff when kids get all like nitpicky about the planning.
do you feel that way? Are you stressed out about college, or are you kind of winging it?
I'm not stressed out about it. I don't really understand it. Because it's like you're trying to pick your favorite place to be tortured for the next 4 years of your life. So it doesn't seem to make too much sense to me. It just seems like I'm going from one institution to another that I actually have to pay for, so.
But if you go to school for something that you love, would that be torture to you?
Well, it's not the learning, of course. Like, it's more about the institutionalization, like
And
I
the
said
money
before.
that-
Yeah, and the money and stuff. But of course, college is more free than high school, so it probably won't be as bad.
Besides your major, what do you look for in school?
What, in like a college?
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea what I look for. I just sort of looked up online what are good colleges for the major I want, and then I'm applying to those. So I honestly don't know.
What's your major?
Well, yeah, like biology. Is botany like technically a major? I don't know how they
Yeah,
classify
it's
like
Yeah.
majors and minors. Yeah, so I guess it would be botany then.
So, as a so-called free spirit, would you have any advice for people who are, I guess, more rigid or like feel trapped by their lives, school, whatever
domestic
it may be?
cage.
Yeah.
Rigidity isn't a bad way of living. It's not. I guess what I'd like to say is free-spirited a compliment, because it was meant to be that way for the superlatives, and I take it as such, but is freedom really such a good thing in all cases? I had a friend who said to me the other day, a life without bonds is a life not living, and that just seems so odd to me, but then I realized, like, one man's freedom is another man's prison. And so I guess when it comes to free-spirited, do whatever you want, even if that means not doing whatever you want. So be free even when you're caged. I don't even know.
So you said that you like plants and botany, and are you sensitive about the environment? Like when you see people littering, does it hurt you?
I would say I'm an environmentalist. Maybe I don't do as much as I should, but I do care about the environment, and I try to recycle as much as I can, try to conserve power, you know.
I think what
typical
you would
stuff.
find an interest in, I mean, would you find an interest in a school that's eco-friendly if you're going to put all that money in?
Perhaps. Actually, that's something I hadn't considered about colleges until now. Good idea.
Can you detail your history with Bonaire? Because I'm sure it's a
it's a
of
talking point
curiosity.
for a lot of things. But let's see, when was the first time I went there? It was, I think, 6th grade. It was just the middle of the winter, and I took a week where my dad, my brother, my mom, and I just went down to Bonaire, and we spent time windsurfing. And I guess a little bit about Bonaire. It's a tropical desert island, and it's renowned for its windsurfing, especially the freestyle. And it's just above South America, off the coast of, I think, Venezuela. I'm not sure. Maybe Brazil. But it's around there. So. And I've been going every year ever since. So that's my thing with Bonaire.